Okay, thanks for joining me on this. I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts about Christmas cards. I make them every year. I've been doing it for probably 30 years. And I have most of my old cards, but not all of them. Some of my family say they have them hanging around, and I would love to get the full collection sometime. But I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I use to make it a little easier to make them. First of all, the easiest way to do it is to start with cardstock. You can go to Staples or any stationery store or Walmart, just about any place that sells paper will sell cardstock. You can get red or green or white or gold or whatever looks pretty Christmassy. I'm going to show you just a simple little snowflake one that we can do. So I start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I fold it in half. And these are nice because you can get standard envelopes that the 8.5 by 11 folded sheet, so that's 8.5 by 5.5, will fit into. So here's your card. And now I'm going to do a snowflake to put on that card. So this is going to be a completely handmade card. So I just start with a piece of white paper that I use in my printer. I'm going to fold it in half, just like I did with the cardstock, and that way I'll be sure that it will fit on the card. I'll get rid of that one. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this in half. And this will take you back to your childhood days of making snowflakes, but it's fun. So I'm going to make this a square, and the way I make it a square is to fold it across to make a triangle, and that will be a square when I cut it. You can see here. So I'm going to cut it so that I end up with a square. Okay, so now I have a square sheet of paper that fits on my card. So now I'm going to fold it in half the other way so that it's a rectangle. There you go. And I'm going to fold it in half this way so it's a square again. And then I'm going to fold it in half again so it's back to being a triangle. And I'm doing this so that I can make it into a circle. And what I'm going to do to make a circle, I'm going to go grab a pencil. So this is the open edge. All the other edges have folds. This edge has a fold and this edge has a fold. So this is the open edge here. And I'm going to just draw a curve that I'm going to cut off to make this one. And don't worry if it's not exactly right, because you're going to be cutting into it to make your snowflake anyway. So now I've made an ice cream cone. All right, and then open that up. And it's round. And it still fits on my card. Yay. Okay, now I'm a purist, and I live in Vermont. We have a lot of snow. So I know that snowflakes have 6 points. So I'm going to fold this in thirds. So it's in half now, and if I fold it in thirds, then it will end up having 6 sides. Oops. Okay, so now it's an ice cream cone again, and it's in sixths. So then you can start just cutting pieces out on your folded edge. Just make sure you leave enough to hold it together. And if you make these, then each of your cards will be very unique because no two snowflakes are the same. And then you can I mean, some people get really fancy with snowflakes, and that's fun. You might want to draw it on first to see what it's going to look like, or you can just freehand it the way I'm doing here. I'm just going wherever. Okay, so now I'm just going to take out a few more chunks just to, the more you take out, the more intricate it gets. And you can go down to, I mean, the people that do these real fancy have these beautiful little scissors that do a wonderful job. And then the most exciting moment is when you open it up. So here we go. Let's see what we got here. You never know what it's going to look like. Cool. All right, so then, and then I can stick it down on my card. Glue sticks work well for this. Careful not to push too hard or you'll rip it like I just did. Right. I'm going to center it, stick it down. And where I made a mistake, I'll just make sure I glue that. There. So that's a pretty simple, back to your childhood way to make kind of a neat card. And you can dress it up a little bit with markers. I have two different types of markers here. They're both Sharpies. One is a paint marker, and the other one is just a regular oil marker. So I might do something. I'm just going to glue that down a little bit more. There. So you could just elaborate on your snowflake design, maybe. Just sticking with the 6 points of light idea. Maybe we go I'm going to play with the gold also. The paint markers, you have to depress the tip so that it marks. And I just like to let it sort of talk to me, tell me what it wants. Anyway, so that gives you an idea of what I would do. And then on the inside you could write your message in here. Merry Christmas. and then put it in an envelope and off you go, and it's a nice personalized gift. So I wanted to talk about how I make some of my cards, well actually all of my cards now. I do a painting and then I photograph it and I get them reproduced. So I'm not making every card. So you could do this if you love what you did on your first snowflake, paper snowflake, take a picture of it and then you can send it off to a printing company and they'll print it for you. Or you could print it on your own computer. If you've got a printer at home, you could do that too. So if you're taking a photograph of it, you want to make sure that it's lying nice and flat. And when you hold your phone over it to take the picture, just make sure that it's all lined up and that you've got good natural light and there aren't any shadows. So I'm lining it up so that it fills up the screen. Okay, so I just took that picture and now I'm going to look at it. This is on an iPhone. I'm going to edit it. So I went to edit, and then if you press on the cropping icon, you can, if you didn't get it quite straight, you can fix that here. And you can play with the color as well. It has automatic settings so that you can play around with those. If you're familiar with Instagram, you know how those things work. So now I've got my image on my phone, and I could go to Vistaprint or Snapfish. Those are two good online sources for getting cards made, and they walk you through all the options. You can have text added, you can get envelopes, and you can get whatever quantities you want, and they all do a really nice job. So what I like about this is I took a photograph of the snowflake, and you can see the shadows behind the snowflake, so it's almost better than the original. You can see. So this is a painting I did in 2014, and it is 10 by 12, I guess. So when I go to take a photograph of it, and I use my iPhone 6S for almost all of my photographs, so it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now, I'm about to take a picture of this, but you can't see because it's too far away, so trust me. Okay, now I'll show you. Okay. Okay, there it is on my phone. I'm going to edit it. Okay, I turned it sideways. And I'm going to crop it down to the image that I want. And then I'm just going to, with the color, I'm going to add saturation to it. Just I know that that'll intensify it a little bit, and then I'll make it a little darker. There. I hope you can see that. Of course, if I turn it around, there. I hope that gives you a few ideas for making cards. Of course, you could make your own cards. You can glue fabric onto this 8.5 by 11 folded sheet of cardstock. You could cut the fabric into interesting shapes. You could use a photograph that you took last Christmas of your Christmas tree and send that to Snapfish or Vistaprint. The sky's the limit. You can do just about anything. So now, if you have any questions, just send me an email. I'll be around for the next 15 minutes or so to answer your questions about the Christmas cards I make. Hope you have fun. Thanks. Bye.